All right. Welcome back, listener, to the Forest Brothers podcast. It's your boy, Mutsa Kristan, back in the cut, joined by my brothers Nkosi and Samson. In this particular episode, we'll be talking about Champions League, particularly Arsenal's game versus Real Madrid at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal killed Madrid 3-0 today. A very lucky result, in my humble opinion. Only lucky because if Rice, they had to depend on Rice scoring screamer free kicks. I'm hating on the result, but I don't want to hate on Rice and what he did because as an avid hater of Arsenal, those free kicks are beautiful. I have to say, the bend on that first free kick, oh my days! Like, but even that second one, both I don't even know which one was better. Like, I actually need to decide which free kick was better, but I think that second one just edges it just because of like the where the ball was. Like that's an unsavable goal unless if the keeper was standing right there. But even then, like it's very difficult. But yeah, kudos to Arsenal because without those two free kicks, I mean, I feel like the game would have ended 0-0. Like without that first free kick, I'm pretty sure it was going to be a 0-0 game or at most a 1-0 game. But Arsenal played well today. It was good. But I let me throw it to the Arsenal fan in the group to let it to let him celebrate. I don't want to start off with negative energy and come off as much I'm more of a hater than I already am. So over to you, Samson. Give me your impressions of that game and your celebrations.
That's okay, Moots. I think everyone's aware of just how much of a hater you are. I don't think you can change anyone's perception. But yeah, man, what a game, man. Obviously I work from home and I was screaming when both goals went in. Like I couldn't believe those were the goals we scored to open the game. Like screamers, just screamers. And I was so happy about the goals because it's something that I've been preaching for months now that I think Declan Rice should be taking all the free kicks. Because before him, I think it was Odegaard, and even Trossard who was taking them, and Sterling whenever he was on the pitch who took them. And I've always just thought, man, Declan Rice, because I see the way he delivers the corners. Like S- Saka delivers the corners the way he crosses. Like you can see, like he puts the ball in the air and he gives it a little bend, and there's not much power in it, but like where he puts it is hard to deal with. With Rice, he boots the ball into the air and it drops right on someone's head. Like literally, you'll see the ball go up and then straight down. That is incredible technique. So I've always thought like he should take free kicks. He should. It makes all the sense because he has the power, he has the skill, and today like he put it all together. And man, I couldn't be more proud of that guy, man. Because everything he does, because he's not, like your typical DM. Half the game he's making runs into the opposition box. And he starts his defending high up in the pitch, right? He'll be intercepting, he'll be making tackles. So you don't even see him in the sixth position. You see him there when we lose the ball, then we all drop back. So he's there, up there the whole game. And I think those two goals, you know, like they're so rewarding for a guy like that because he works so hard for the team, especially in these games where Bukayo Saka's been out, Odegaard's been out, we haven't had a striker. Like he's had to do so much more than what his original job was, and just to see him put it all together in a game like this is it's incredible. But yeah, moving away from Rice, like yeah, I think the whole team was incredible. I think even before the two goals, I can say that I don't think anyone gave anything less than a 7 out of 10. It was solid all around. And apart from like a few, I think Partey gave the ball away once, Saka gave the ball away once, and Kivio gave the ball away once. Apart from those mistakes, I don't think we did anything wrong. We had Real Madrid where we wanted them, which is not something you get to say often. We were controlling the game, we're creating chances, and shout out to Rice because I think that first free kick it forced Real Madrid to be a bit more direct and to be a bit more reckless, and that's how you saw Merino end up scoring the third goal because Real Madrid were a bit more open after those two goals because they had to be. But yeah, it was a great game, man. Incredible game. Incredible game. And the fact that it happened at the Emirates, iconic, man. The noise at the stadium, just these are memories we're going to cherish for a lifetime, and I'm very proud of the team today. So yeah.
Uh, I do want to agree with that. Shout out to Jasmine Rice. He was cooking today, Jasmine. Wow, I'm like honestly, like you. But I shouldn't be surprised. Jasmine was developed at Cobham.
There it goes.
So the boy, he knows where his roots come from. The boy
Uh,
Jasmine. So shout out to him. He did very well with those free kicks. And one thing that I just want to add on to what Samson was mentioning there is maybe there is potential for him to be like the set piece taker because we tend to forget that earlier in the season when they were set piece merchants, he could he could take a corner directly onto the keeper from that angle. Just think about that. It could land right on the keeper, or it could be a straight shot. And now, when you put him in that angle of right where he can face the entire goal, and he has any side he can pick on, because keep in mind, Courtois is no slouch. The guy in the sticks is no slouch. That was truly incredible. You know, sometimes we talk about, oh, that shot went top corner, that shot went top corner. That second free kick is the definition of what top corner looks like. When someone says you put it in the top corner, that is the top corner. No, these are the things, these are the scams we've seen. People saying they've scored and they hit the top corner. No, that was the true top corner. Like even Courtois, he knew that he was beaten, like hands down. And shout out to Arsenal, man. Like we even Arsenal fans, like all of them, as the game was coming along, I heard them talk about they will probably maybe looking at like a slender lead going to Madrid or maybe a draw. For them to walk out 3-0 victors today is truly incredible. And to think that the team that Real have assembled, the team they have that they've dreamt about, they had it and was dismantled by an Arsenal team that didn't have their centre back and a striker. Well, I don't know if the striker would have changed much because it's Havertz, but that's besides the point. So to kind of see that, because when you think about it, though, say the free kicks in the manner of the game in itself, the way they went in, they were so demoralizing. Like for real, like in terms of like their heads dropped after those free kicks. Like you could see it. Like I don't know what it is, but like if Arsenal had scored ahead, it would have been a different experience. But the fact that it was a free kick and the place was buzzing, and the worst part is not that it only happened once, it happened twice. It was like as I was watching there, I think the comment is something along the lines of, "Could he do it again? Could he top what he's already done?" And then he went and did that. Like that's a KO to Real. Like they were KO'd there. Like even if Arsenal didn't even score the third one, the fact that those two free kicks went in, like it's just cream de la creme, honestly. Because even like when I think about it, like I don't even know if like Jasmine was actually even thinking about that. Like if in his mind, because like in a game you could score a screamer and be like, okay, this is the only screamer I'll score today. But when you get it again, you're probably thinking that's a very low possibility. I could score again. Like there's a very low possibility. And for him to do it again, I can safely say that there is no other game where he'll be able to do it like that and again and again. Because that's that's a super game. And shout out to him. Shout out to Arteta. Trusted Kivio. I know Arsenal fans have had a problem with him. He performed against Real, not expected. And to even throw in the boy MLS, Major League Soccer, Miles Lewis Kelly. Like shout out to Arteta for throwing him into the deep end there and playing against the great Real Madrid, who, interestingly enough, we were all expecting them to come out maybe with something today. Were nowhere to be found today, which to me was very surprising. Kamavinga also got a red card Jude didn't look the same. Like I don't know I don't know what's happening then, Real. Maybe it's because I don't watch the Spanish football, and maybe Real is going through some sort of heartbreak. I don't know from what. Because when I look at them, they don't look themselves. They don't look like a team that we could potentially say will be challenging for the Champions League. And they're most people's favorites. But I do want to mention it again. Shout out to Arsenal. They dismantled them. As much as they dismantled them, it's also a positive for us that support the Stamford Bridge faithful. It's now today's victory for Arsenal confirmed that there'll be 5 teams from the Premier League going to the Champions League next season. So shout out to Arsenal. We're rooting for you. We hope you get to the semifinals and lose. You would have achieved what we've asked you to achieve. We're not asking you to win it. Don't win it. None of that, please.
I definitely agree with that. And you know what? I actually, building up to this game, I was like, okay, when I saw Gabriel walk off injured in that other game out for the season, I was like, all right, they're about to get cooked by Madrid because Bukayo Saka is still coming back from injury. Like, he's probably not him. He's not himself. Um, they don't have the striker. Again, this is Madrid at the end of the day. I was like, how are they going to deal with the boy Mbappe? Vinicius, how are they going to deal with the boy Jude Bellingham? All this. And I mean, again, it's only the first leg. We don't know what's going to happen there at the Bernabeu. But in this game, yeah, certainly, like when I saw that first free kick, I was shook because I thought it was going out and then it just bent it back in. Um, and I guess you're saying, Mangoro, when he stood there again, we're like, no ways does it do this. No ways does it do it again. And it did it in the same corner too, in the same side. So I think Arsenal striked gold today. I don't think, like as you're saying, I don't think Declan does it again ever again. I don't think this ever happens again in his career. I think this was like one of those moments where he was touched by God twice. I think that's just what it is. Because I mean, unless if he's gonna prove us wrong, because I mean, David Beckham used to do this all the time. So I don't know, maybe if this is now like a new thing for Rice and for Arsenal, where free kicks, Rice takes them, 80% chance it goes in because maybe he's got like that crazy technique where he can actually just make it happen. Maybe that's the new thing because Arsenal seems to always find these new little things to win games. It was in the beginning of the season, corner merchants. That's what they were about, and then they got figured out. And now maybe the new thing is Rice free kicks. Who knows? Who knows how it goes? But we also did see Saka wobble off there at the end. So I'll be curious to see how his injury, like if that's gonna be a bad enough injury for like the next leg or whatever the case. I'm also curious to see in the second leg if Arsenal park the bus at the Bernabeu, because what I will say is people must have forget Madrid are demons. This is not their first rodeo. They've been out for the count before. Didn't they do this to Man City? Man City had killed them. Like, what was it? I
I
can't
think it
remember
was
what the score.
3-1.
It was 3-1. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they came back. They came back from the dead and wrote them off. But I did say though that if Arsenal are to move past this, they need to score 3 goals, and Madrid doesn't score, and they did just that today. So it's gonna be a very, very, very hard mountain to climb in Spain. If Madrid pull this out of the hat, hey, I'll be there with 5 cups ready to drink Arsenal tears. I'll be there ready to indulge. But I don't know how Arteta will do it. Samson, how are you feeling about that second leg? Like, what are your confidence levels to Arsenal winning that second leg, or at least not losing it by 3 goals to be knocked out?
Well, I'll just start with going into the tie. I was always confident that even if we lose, it wasn't going to be by like 2 or 3 goals because I don't think Arsenal has conceded 3 goals in a game in like 2 years. Um, like we don't give goals away like that. Um, so even with Kivio there, like probably 1 goal, 2 goals, I'd kind of accepted it because, no Gabriel. Um, we have Partey at DM. Partey has cost us actually a number of goals playing at DM this year. So there was some, weaknesses to exploit, but at the same time, Real have not been in the best form just this past weekend they lost to Valencia in La Liga. Valencia are sitting in 14th. All right. So for the listeners out there that are unfamiliar with Spanish football, Valencia are to La Liga what Tottenham is to, the Premier League. They have, admittedly, they have a little bit more success within that league, but they are this perennial like top six team, right? They're one of the big clubs in Spain, but they've had like a horrific few years, and this year has been like one of the worst ones they've had in a long time. Um, but somehow, some way, they just found their form over the weekend and they beat Real,
What was
um,
the scoreline?
2-1.
Mm.
And Vinicius also missed a penalty in that game. Um, so just
Was that the one where Jude Bellingham was kicking VR boxes?
yeah, yeah. He kicked the VR box at the end of the game. So yeah, not a great game from the boys. So I had a little bit of confidence, but like you guys saying, like two free kicks, like who can predict that sort of thing, Like I thought it would be one goal to us, one goal to them, and then it gets figured out in the second leg. In this position, I'm pretty confident because I think we can hold them off. They're missing a lot of key players, especially in defense. So the fact that they have to come out and play us, they have to come out and attack. There's gonna be gaps in behind. And they're playing guys like Lucas Vasquez at right back. They're playing um Alaba at left back. You saw him today, he was shaky at left back. He had to be taken off because they're also dealing with injuries. So, and obviously no Camavinga next week. So I don't think they'll be able to overcome. But like you guys said, this is Madrid. Devil magic works deep in this team. These guys, even even on social media, like our promo video was with the fans. Guys talking about friendship and brotherhood. Real Madrid's promo video was in black and white with this moody music playing. There's like a storm over London there in the background. Like, bro, what are you devils doing, bro? Like, we're playing football. Like, I was shook. Anyways, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be able to figure it out. But yeah, on the Saka injury, Arteta actually spoke about it post game. He said that it was just like a knock because Saka's actually the one who won both free kicks, and I think on the second one, as he was going down, he got someone stood on him. I think with his
Yeah.
right leg, so I think he should be fine. Declan Rice as well. I think it was just like a muscle thing. Like he was just tired and he was just done. So they took him off. So I think we should be good. Maybe those two guys are rested for the Premier League, and we continue to drop points there. I don't think the guys are too concerned about that. So yeah, I think more likely you should see the same team next week in Madrid.
Mm.
Drop points so that Spurs can do the God of Honor?
Hopefully, yes.
Oh, okay.
This is part of the plan.
Very curious just to see what happens with in that second leg because Madrid and Spain monsters, absolute monsters. They don't mess around. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very exciting. And I'm just thinking about the other Champions League game that was played today was between um Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, and Bayern lost 2-1, I believe, today. So we'll also just need to see what happens in that second leg as well. And tomorrow, for us, we're seeing Barcelona and Dortmund go at it, and PSG and Aston Villa. So, you know, the only way that I don't know how the polls are gonna look when it comes to if who Arsenal play in the semifinal if they do go there, like
They
if they end up.
play they play
Huh?
the winner of PSG and Aston Villa.
Damn. So okay. So if they end up playing like Aston Villa, all right, we know that's. I mean, actually, I don't know because right now Aston Villa are playing really well, but that's probably like Arsenal's best shot at moving forward if they play Aston Villa. That's the best chance that's the best shot they got to move to the final. And if they go to the final, who knows who they'll meet there? So
The funny thing is we've beaten both teams this season. Aston Villa and PSG. So, and we looked pretty good in those wins. So, I'm not too concerned either with them. I think the bigger challenge would be in the final, in my opinion, because yeah, Barca or Inter beat us early in the season, and they beat us like legit. Like we could not do anything with them. So I'm more concerned with them than PSG or Aston Villa. But let me not talk about them. We still have to go to Madrid. So I'm just
Well, what about Bayern? How would you feel about Bayern?
your boy plays there. I'm not worried about it. By the way, do you know who cost them the game today? Who missed the one-on-one? It's your boy,
It happens.
Harriet Kane. Shout out the boy.
It happens. But I would say, yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with Arsenal and I mean, okay. Final question to you about this, Samson. What are your confidence percentage levels to Arsenal winning the Champions League? Like, where would you put your percentages to that?
Uh, again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Because again, we are dealing with we are playing Merino up top, and we are playing a 50% Saka right now. Who, by the way, gave us an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performance because he's playing someone who doesn't usually play left back, who's coming off an injury. So it was sort of like the perfect game for him. Is every game gonna be like that? Like for example, if we play Inter in the final, they play a back three. So more often than not, Saka's gonna be having to dribble past two or three guys, two guys minimum each time. Very few one-on-ones. Aston Villa always play a back five when they play us. Like the road isn't gonna be easy. So I'd say like, 30%. Like I'd say like we have like a 1 in 3 chance to go all the way. I think it depends heavily on how how Saka looks in the coming weeks. Like if Saka can get back to like his best, like 100% during the semifinal, then that number is gonna shoot up very quickly. I'll tell you that much.
Now that's fair. That's fair. Mangoro, the question that I have for you is, what does Ancelotti need to do for Madrid to beat Arsenal basically 4-3 or 5-3 at the Bernabeu next week? Like, what needs to happen for this to for Madrid to come out of this? Like, do they just do 3-3 and then shoot out? Because I do trust um Courtois over Raya when it comes to pens. So would that be like the goal? Or do you think Madrid is actually possible for them to get to 4 goals and the game finishes 4-3? Like, what does Ancelotti need to do here?
I think he needs to, well, firstly, this weekend in the league game they have, he needs to not play the players going to play next week. That's point number one. He needs to make a decision very soon as to what he's going to do. That's what the first thing. The second thing I would say for Mr. Carlo Ancelotti, he needs to find a system that will support the players that need to score goals next week. Like maybe a 4-3-3, because this 4-4-2, like it's very lopsided and I don't see it working. So I think he needs to work on that. That's the next part. And then the next thing is he needs to tell the players to play the game of their lives. Like, because that's what they'll need next week. 3 goals down, because the moment Arsenal score one, you need to score four. This is exactly like Liverpool, Barca PSG remontada. Like that, it needs to be that kind of game where you are flawless. You get a chance, you score. Like have chance, decent chance, you score. You don't even give them a chance. That's basically what I would say is what he needs to do in that regard to even give himself a shot at coming back in this game. And then also like I'd say come up with something that is non-expected from the team you field. Maybe okay, I know Madrid traditionally not a back three team. Come out to the back three team, like where they're not expecting that, and they will need the crowd. Motivate the crowd heading into that game. Make it a hostile environment for the Arsenal. Uh, so that you can get motivated. And then I think the one thing that is underrated but very important, the day before the game, take all the players and walk around the trophy cabinet and remind them of all those occasions, of all those 15 Champions Leagues. Although some of them have only been there for the last couple, some haven't seen any. Remind the players of, if this game, treat it like a final, if this game doesn't go as you anticipated it to go, we're not going to be adding number 16. Remind them of that. So you start playing like these psychological games with them so that they amped for it, they pumped for it, so that they know. Because we've seen it. Like, we've seen Kylian Mbappe do it single handedly in a Champions League final. I mean, in a World Cup final. That's even a bigger stage. We've seen Vinicius carry Real in this phase of the Champions League against Man City, and even in the final, show up in the final. Much as we talk about players not showing up, i.e., Mo Salah. We would need to make sure that's the other aspect. Jude, why there's so much talk about him? Show up in that second leg, or else Mutsa will be talking about how overrated you are. So make sure that, like, you have, I'm serious, the game of your life. Like, if it means that Rudiger needs to go 1-on-1 against the Arsenal striker so that his players can go in and attack and they add numbers in the final third, they need to do that. They have nothing to lose. They need to ensure that all these things align. You see how Jasmine was perfect with the free kicks today. They need to be perfect that way, and they need to put the ball in the back of the net. If they can be leading 1 or 2-0 before half time, I give them a chance to take it to extra time, and then who knows what happens there. But if they decide that they want to take it slow, ease into the game, they will have a problem. Because if you score one early in the first 15, you give yourself a chance. But if they don't do that, and Arsenal hang on, because I know Arteta, he's going to tell his players, let's play in segments. It's going to be 10, 15-minute segments. Survive the segment. Yeah, we haven't conceded. Wonderful. Survive the next segment. Perfect. 30 minutes. Let's get to halftime at 0-0. If they get to halftime at 0-0, Real Madrid are out. And there's nothing they'll do. There is no miracle. But we've also known that referees in Spain do very interesting things. So that could also support the narrative there, where they could come back. But that's just my take. That's what Real needs to do. They also need to, I don't know, man, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, everything that I've mentioned just needs to come together just for that night. That one night for it to work out. They can go out in the semi-final, that's fine. The fact that, like, all of these things just came together that one night, that's all they'll be hoping for next week.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I hope Madrid get to listen to that. Ancelotti gets to, I'm sure they'll do that anyway, because they've done it over and over and over again. But Samson, what does Arteta need to do to make sure that you guys park the bus? Is that going to be the vibe of Arteta? Like, is that the way to get through what's going to happen there at Madrid? Like, what did you think is the best way for Arteta to manage the game so that they don't lose that?
Thing is, it's funny that you gotta talk about the psychology of it, and you're forgetting that Arteta is Arteta's thinking the same thing. He's probably booked the stadium tour of Real Madrid right now. He's gonna take his players to the trophy room and be like, "This can be yours." We're gonna use the exact same playbook to motivate them. So, but yeah, what does he need to do? I don't think you can change too much. I think um, this game, from Real Madrid's perspective, like Kosi said, Real Madrid can't play the way they played today. They can't sit back, because today they let Arsenal have the ball and they sat back and were like, hey, we're gonna hit them on the counter. We're gonna wait for our chances. There's no waiting. You're down 3 goals, 90 minutes to change the game. Like, you can't wait. So Real Madrid are gonna field their strongest 11, their best passers, their best attackers, and they're going to try and attack the whole game. If you're Arsenal, I don't think you can change. I don't think you go out with the back five or something, because that invites pressure. I think what you do is you play the team you played today, because I think that team is very well balanced. You know, if you look at the defense and you look at the midfield, it's very well balanced. You know, you have essentially, a regular back four, two DMs and a cam, two wingers, and a striker who can play in the midfield as well. Like, you can be difficult. You can just flood the midfield with that 11 and hit them on the counter, and you can also control possession with that 11, like you did today. So I think that's what Arteta should aim to do. Just play, uh, play the same way as much as you possibly can. Try and control the game as much as you can. So like press them as well. Try keep the ball because the longer you keep the ball, the longer you frustrate them, the less time they have to actually attack you. And if they're constantly worried about what's Bukayo Saka gonna do right now, what's Martinelli gonna do right now, what's Odegaard gonna do right now, that's less time of them, like focusing on their attack. So just gotta just gotta keep it tight, keep composure and try to do what you did today. Because I'll repeat this. Before the free kicks, Arsenal were playing very well. Arsenal were controlling that game. In fact, the two free kicks came because Arsenal were attacking down the right hand side, and Bukayo Saka got the ball, and whoever was guarding him, I think the first time was Alaba, the second time was I want to say Kamavinga. They couldn't deal with them. He weaved past them, and they couldn't keep up with him. They brought him down. Because why? We had the ball for an extended period of time. Guys were stuck in their defensive shape and they were scrambling. If you just keep doing that, you're gonna frustrate them even more, and that's gonna help you win the tie. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, the team can replicate their performance from today.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, no, okay, that's good. I think that's a good way to wrap things up. What I know is probably going to happen is that the boy Miles Lewis Skelly gets a red card within the first 10 minutes. That's what happens. Young Hood Skelly. I know what he is. I know what he is. I know
Not
what he
not
does.
Major League Soccer.
My guy, that brother, I know he's gonna do it. I know he's gonna bring down Killian for a penalty in the first 10 minutes, get a red card, and it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful because he can do it. And Samson is laughing because he knows that's the kind of nigga he is.
Not
After
my boy.
that,
Not my boy. By the way, did you see him today? I mean, he was impressive, wasn't he?
I'm never impressed by that hood. That hood
I
man.
like, yo, people underestimate what this brother does, but what he does in the middle of the field when he gets the ball and people just can't take it off him, like, man, I don't know if you guys like this guy is a physical beast at his age. He's 18. Like it's not normal what he's doing. Where like he just keeps the ball and people bounce off him. He drives it forward. There was even a point in time he drove it all the way into the Real box through three guys. I was like, yo, that's a teenager. He's going to school tomorrow. Like, he has school. Like wow. But yeah, I know he has a streak.
He has it in him.
Yeah, he's young. He's 18.
Yeah,
So, he,
yeah.
he he might make a mistake, but I don't think he will. I think he'll be all right.
I'm hoping for the latter. I'm hoping for that he won't be all right. I'm hoping he does. Ah, man. I'm telling you, I'm so excited of this Arsenal tears. I'm looking forward to it because I know that there will be no greater pain for an Arsenal fan to be this close and to lose it all at Madrid. I know there'll be no greater pain. Samson won't talk to me for a week, I swear.
I will be here. I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here. I'm not gonna hide.
I'm gonna be abusing Arsenal fans like I've never abused them before. I'm telling you.
I'll be
So
ready.
you be ready? Yeah,
Be
as long
ready.
as you're ready, man. As long as you're ready, it's like this. But anyway, I think that's a good place as well to kind of end the pod here. But yeah, man, you know what? Congrats, Declan Rice. I'm sure he's in his house. I'm just gonna be replaying those free kicks for the rest of his life. There's always gonna be a TV in his household that's just showing those free kicks over and over and over again. I'm sure even in his bedroom when he's with his wife, it's gonna be getting him, getting him excited. Which is like Declan. She's just gonna show him that video. Just like, all right, let's go. I think that's probably what it's gonna do. Probably have it playing on the top of his ceiling or something. Anyways, he probably is not sleeping tonight. I know he's celebrating those two free kicks. I know he's celebrating those two free kicks. Um, but yeah, I think that's a good place to end the pod. Any final thoughts on Arsenal and Madrid, gentlemen?
Shout out to Jasmine Rice. He cooked today. Congratulations, proud Chelsea product. We're happy for him. He's one of our own. Him and Mason. I don't know what's happening with Mason, but they're best friends. Jasmine is one of our own, so shout out to him. Over to you, Samson.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I find it always funny how Chelsea fans claim certain players because it's always after a good performance, man. No one ever claims anyone after a bad one. All of a sudden, someone goes from like a common project to a common reject all of a sudden, it's interesting. But yeah, shout out to Arsenal, shout out to Declan Rice, um, shout out to Mikel Arteta because I think, yeah, man, this guy is in his fifth year of management, um, and he is, winning games with Mikel Marino up top, um, and he's finding a way to keep us in second place, with all the decisions that go against the team, with all the injuries we've had, now on the biggest stage performing like, I remember a few years ago I was saying this is the last chance, but yeah, I think I can firmly say like this guy's gonna be here for a long time. He's gonna have a very long career because you don't just get to do this. Not everyone just gets to wake up and make a team like this work. Like this is something you have to really acknowledge. Even Pep doesn't do this. Even Pep needs world-class players. Like a very select few managers would have looked at Mourinho and be like, you know what, you're my number nine. Like it's rare. So yeah, shout out to him. He's doing an amazing job, and shout out to the team. So yeah, shout out to Arsenal.
No, that's fair. And yeah, listen, with that, we appreciate your time and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out.